have roll call?
I have roll call.
Thank you so much. Do we have any public correspondence or public comments? All right, seeing none. We do not have any public appearances, but we do have a public hearing that we will do before item number 1, which should be titled New Business, not Old Business. Looking for reading and approval of minutes from our February 9th, 2026 village board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions regarding the minutes? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. All right, moving on to our one and only item tonight, under new business. We are going to hold a public hearing for this item before we do any discussion on it. So I am going to open the public hearing on ordinance number 716-030226, amending and creating chapter 235 land division, amending a minimum lot or parcel size for a lot or parcel within the village's extraterritorial plat review authority. The hearing is for the purpose of exactly that. The ordinance changes the minimum lot or parcel size within the extraterritorial plat review from 20 acres down to 5, or whatever this board may deem appropriate this evening. So with that, the public hearing on this ordinance is open. If anybody would like to step forward and speak in favor or against the ordinance, now is your time.
Mine will be quick, so.
Good evening, Mr.
Hi.
Ducey.
Hi, good evening, Joe Raguzzi, 32010 High Drive. Just want to say thanks for everyone meeting and actually having a discussion about this, and thank you to the people that have met with me in person. Really appreciate the discussion and the willingness to talk about it and make the right choice tonight, so we're counting on it. My family's here, they're counting on it. Someday they'll own the land and hopefully be able to live there next to me when I'm old, so thank you guys, take care.
Thank you.
Doug Schwartz, 458 Empire Lane, Waterford. Just want to thank the board for their leadership in reconsidering this. It definitely put a hardship on the people in the township. It also goes a long way for the town and the village to work together. Again, thank you to the board.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks for your service, Doug. All right, is there anybody else that would like to speak at the public hearing? All right, hearing none, one more opportunity to speak at the public hearing this evening. All right, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion to close our public hearing.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. I have a second. Rachel, could I please have a roll call vote on this and then anything else tonight?
Goldhammer. Nash.
Aye.
Colnell.
Aye.
Jaskey.
Aye.
McReynolds. Dunham.
Aye.
Ewert.
Aye. All right, our public hearing is closed at 6:04 p.m. Okay, moving on to the discussion of said ordinance 716-030226, amending and recreating chapter 235 land division. Consider an appropriate motion for action on this item. So I'm just going to quickly take 2 minutes to start, and then I would like discussion one last time from everybody on this elected body. Mr. Raguzzi pretty much hit it on the head. Mr. Johnson has pretty much hit it on the head and brought forward to this board and to the community at large that this governing body made the wrong call roughly 4 years ago when we implemented 20-acre minimum restrictive punitive ordinance that it is. Sometimes, as we all know, government works in odd ways, does things that make no sense. Many things we don't agree with. This is one where I'm not going to speak for anybody on this board, but I have heard everybody at some point say it's one of the votes they regret the most as an elected official in this community. Not everybody on this board currently did vote. Trustee Dunham was not here, but she did spend time walking property with these owners and discussing with these owners their feelings and the different things, as everybody here has in some capacity. This is why people have distrust and a dislike for their government. Punitive actions, retaliatory actions, neighbors not being able to get along with neighbors is what drives wedges between governments, people, and frankly, back to the neighbors. So this board tonight, in my opinion, has an absolute grand opportunity to do something government traditionally has a hard time doing, and that's correcting a wrong and making it a right. I look at the back of the room, and Mr. Gucci's absolutely right. This board, nor any governing body should put restrictions on those fine young children that are sitting in the back of this room to be able to do with what they want to do with the property of their family for generations to come. That should not be for me to dictate. And we have a great opportunity to correct that tonight. It also allows, in my opinion, a real good chance and a real good hand gesture to our neighbors in the town of Waterford to get back to the table and discuss the important issues in front of us: policing, fire, EMS, shared services, all the different things that can make Waterford as a whole community better and better. I'm hoping in my conversations with Chair Zaklinski, I know I called him out a few meetings ago and told him to be a man of his word, but I honestly believe that if this does get repealed to 5 acres or less tonight, that Chairman Zaklinski will be very honorable to his word and be willing to, hopefully very soon, bring forward conversations on getting a boundary agreement done with the 2 municipalities. I know he knows it's in the best interest of Waterford as a whole, as does this board. So I'm hoping that tonight, this is a handshake, a step forward, an olive branch to show that we are listening to the people of Waterford as a whole and hearing that they want their elected leaders to get their act together and do what's right and best on behalf of everybody. The punitive, the retaliatory, the childish behaviors need to end. We need to be leaders. We are elected by all of you out there to be up here and make the best decisions for everybody. And tonight is a phenomenal step in that direction. So that was more than a few minutes, but with that being said, I'm open to discussion on this ordinance across this board. Please don't all speak at once.
I'll take the lead. So I've spent the last few months researching state of Wisconsin statutes, state of Wisconsin historical case law, to discover that an extraterritorial plat review jurisdiction has basically one principal factor from which they can delegate properties along our border, and that's size, and size only. When our Plan Commission discussed it in 2022 and our village board enacted it in 2022, we didn't understand the enormity of that decision. As President Jaski said, we didn't understand how this would impact our neighbors as severely as it has. There are many communities in the state of Wisconsin that have extraterritorial jurisdiction. And using that as a communication tool with their neighboring municipalities and counties, better planning for the future comes from extraterritorial jurisdiction communication. Moving forward, I would encourage the Village of Waterford to continue to have extraterritorial jurisdiction, just as I would encourage all of our municipal neighbors to continue to have extraterritorial jurisdiction. That said, I believe it is an excellent communication tool in future planning for any abutting community to understand what's coming to the neighboring community. So any community can plan appropriately and redistrict areas or rezone areas as they see fit over time through their comprehensive plans to accompany that type of development or construction or planned unit development with something that is of like type as communities in large. So I believe it's a great communication tool for us to keep in place. Said that, I believe it's also in our best interest to reduce our minimum lot size to 0 and no longer deny any forward-coming plat reviews that would come our way, but simply review and file that away so we can plan better in our future where we abut our neighboring communities. I don't believe that 20 acres was, the intention originally was not to be petty and punitive, but the outcome of that decision became very petty and punitive. And I don't believe that 5 acres is the right size. We cannot, as an extraterritorial plat review committee with jurisdictional responsibilities, deny someone on our border within a mile and a half from doing what they're told from their municipality can be done, or from their county what can be done. We should not carry that big of a stick. So I believe it's a good idea to keep an extraterritorial jurisdiction plat review committee in force and only use that as a communication tool for planning going forward. I would see that any of our neighbors around us, Norway, Rochester, Town of Waterford, Dover, if something falls within a mile and a half of Waterford, they should still continue to send it to us, as we should do with them. But we should enter into a good faith commitment with our neighbors to never again deny the potential for development within a mile and a half of our boundary. I believe that we should move forward with no denials and no lot size. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Nash. Before anybody else goes on, I'm gonna wholeheartedly agree with you. I have twisted with that myself in this whole process, and having the opportunity to speak with 2 property owners in the room, where their situation worked at 5. That was good, and I do remember talking to both of them saying, I do know other people that would like to split their property that are under 5. And I just have wrestled and twisted with the fact that, again, we went to 20, now we want to go to 5, but we still are affecting individuals who fall within that 1.5 mile radius of the village of Waterford that want to do something that is under 5. So I'm wholeheartedly on board with what you just said on a no minimum.
I completely agree. It's the right step.
I concur.
I agree as well.
Mr. President?
Yes, Troy?
After listening to Bob and also myself doing some diving into what this did over the last couple of years, I completely agree and am on board with what has been stated.
I appreciate that input.
Bob Nash.
Pat, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Usually I don't know if I could comment because I do have a farm that's not affected by this 1.5 mile restriction. And I just like to make a correction. Last time we had 2 votes. I recused myself from one, which I'm going to have to do again tonight. But I did vote no, the one I could. I just wanted to make that on the record. So I was the one trustee who voted against it.
Okay, thank you, Pat. All right, I guess after that quick conversation, which I think we all have come to a realization on this topic, can I consider that a motion, Trustee Nash?
I'd like to make a motion to resolve 716-03022026 to keep in place extraterritorial jurisdiction as a communication tool only, and to reduce minimum lot size to 0.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other conversation on this topic? All right, hearing none. Rachel, could I get a roll call vote?
Paul Dammer? Oh, all right.
Okay.
Nash,
Aye.
Colnow,
Aye.
Chasky,
Aye.
McReynolds, Dunham,
Aye.
Ewart.
Aye.
All right. The motion passes. The ordinance will be updated as soon as it possibly can. I want to take one more quick minute. I want to thank Trustee Ewart, Eric Johnson, and Joe Ragusi. We get up here and we talk a lot about the ugliness of social media. This is the one thing, social media somehow spurned a conversation through a different conversation to get together and have a beer and start the conversation, if that makes any sense. So I want to thank Trustee Ewart for bringing this conversation back to the forefront. I want to thank Eric Johnson and Joe Ragusi and their families for the patience and the sometimes up and down conversations to get to this night. I want the individuals in this room and that are watching this and that will watch this later to realize that this board listens to its residents, that this board is listening to what Waterford is saying, that we can do better, we can be better, we can correct our wrongs. I hope this is proof that that can be done. I wish all of you nothing but the best in your future plans with your land. And please, going forward, make sure to hold your elected leaders in the town and here in the village accountable for what you believe are wrongs and start those conversations, because look what we achieved here with your help. So with that being said, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other conversation on adjournment, folks? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned at 6:17. Thank you all for being here.